Welcome to the Audio Mentors channel, where we transform knowledge into power for entrepreneurs and forward-thinking individuals. Today, I bring you The Black Book of the Entrepreneur by Fernando Trías de Bes, a book that will help you understand the realities and challenges of being an entrepreneur. Here, you will learn the keys that will help you avoid common mistakes and make smarter decisions on your path to success. So, if you're ready to learn and challenge preconceived ideas about entrepreneurship, stay with us. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Introduction. The Importance of Being an Entrepreneur. In this first chapter of The Black Book of the Entrepreneur, Fernando Trías de Bes lays the foundation for the journey through the complex paths of entrepreneurship. He starts by discussing the importance of being an entrepreneur in the modern world, a world that is constantly changing and increasingly demands the ability to adapt, innovate, and manage uncertainty. Trías de Bes argues that being an entrepreneur is not just about starting a business, but about creating value in a context of risk and opportunity. The myth of the entrepreneur as a visionary leader. Over the years, we've been bombarded with the image of the visionary entrepreneur, that person who has a brilliant idea and, thanks to their genius, changes the world. However, Trías de Bes quickly dismantles this myth. In reality, being an entrepreneur is much more than having a brilliant idea or a stroke of luck. Entrepreneurship is a complex process that involves not only the ability to have good ideas but also effective management of resources, strong discipline, and a tolerance for failure. The author points out that, in many cases, entrepreneurs are not exceptional for their ideas, but for their ability to execute, to stay focused on their goals despite the obstacles they face. Leadership is not based solely on vision, but on execution, the ability to make tough decisions, and the skill to manage others. Additionally, Trías de Bes emphasizes that the real challenge for an entrepreneur is managing the uncertainty and constant risk involved in launching a business, rather than being an innovative genius. The reasons behind entrepreneurship. One of the key points the author discusses in this chapter is that entrepreneurship should not be driven by the wrong motives. Many entrepreneurs start their journey with the expectation of having full control over their life and finances, or with the mistaken belief that having their own business is easier than working for someone else. Trías de Bes warns that this mentality can be a huge mistake. An entrepreneur's life is filled with uncertainty, constant pressure, and responsibility. Owning a business doesn't mean being free from problems, but having the responsibility to make tough decisions and manage adversity consistently. The author highlights that many people begin their entrepreneurial journey without truly understanding what being an entrepreneur entails. Often, the desire for financial independence or flexible hours is overshadowed by the reality of constant work and the unforeseen challenges that arise daily. The author stresses that it is crucial to understand from the beginning that being an entrepreneur is not an easy path, and those who embark on it without considering the real reasons for entrepreneurship often end up failing. Entrepreneurship as a choice, not an imposition. Trías de Bes also touches on an important topic. Entrepreneurship should be a conscious choice, not an obligation. In today's society, entrepreneurship is often glorified, presented as the only valid option to achieve personal and financial success. However, the author challenges this view. He points out that entrepreneurship is not for everyone, and in fact, some people may find greater satisfaction working for others or developing within a corporate structure. The central point here is that entrepreneurship should be an informed and voluntary decision. The author warns that those who start a business due to external pressure or to follow a trend may quickly feel overwhelmed by the demands of the process, as entrepreneurship requires not only passion but also a great deal of preparation, resilience, and adaptability. The conscious entrepreneur is one who, first, understands the implications of their decision and, second, has a genuine vocation for growing something of their own. This authenticity is essential for long-term success. Bach warns that those who begin their entrepreneurial journey for superficial reasons often abandon the project when they face the first difficulties. Fear of failure, a constant in entrepreneurship. One of the keys to success, according to Trías de Bes, is managing the fear of failure. Throughout the chapter, the author explains how successful entrepreneurs are not the ones who never fail, but those who know how to learn from failure and keep moving forward. fear of failure is natural and, in fact, inevitable. However, failure is not the end, but an opportunity for learning and growth. Entrepreneurs must be willing to experiment and fall in order to learn, adapt, and continuously improve. Trías de Bes also explains how fear of failure becomes an invisible barrier for many aspiring entrepreneurs. Often, people feel trapped by the fear of making mistakes, losing money, or failing to meet expectations. However, the author emphasizes that action is the antidote to fear. The most successful entrepreneurs are those who make quick decisions and learn from their mistakes without letting those mistakes define them. The role of the environment in the entrepreneur's success. The environment in which entrepreneurs operate is also key. Trías de Bes emphasizes that the social, economic, and familial environment can greatly influence the entrepreneur's development. While personal resilience is essential, having the right support, whether in the form of a network of contacts, mentors, or a family environment that understands the entrepreneur's effort, can make the difference between success and failure. The author also highlights that the success of entrepreneurship does not solely depend on the idea or the business itself, but on the ability to adapt to the changing circumstances of the environment. Being a successful entrepreneur requires having a flexible mind, willing to adjust to market changes, customer demands, and global trends. Conclusion: the reality of entrepreneurship. In this first chapter, Trías de Bes invites us to rethink the traditional concept of entrepreneurship. Rather than seeing it as a quest for easy wealth or a path of glamour and immediate success, he presents a more realistic view. Being an entrepreneur is a tough road, full of tough decisions, sacrifices, and constant learning. The successful entrepreneur is the one who has a clear vision, understands that failure is part of the process, and mentally prepares for the challenges ahead. The real question is not whether you can come up with a brilliant idea, but whether you are willing to work tirelessly for your business, learn from mistakes, and adapt along the way. Chapter 2: Entrepreneur or Fortune Tester. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes delves into one of the most fundamental questions for anyone considering entrepreneurship. Are you really starting a business, or are you just testing your luck? Throughout the text, Trías de Bes addresses the key differences between those who embark on entrepreneurship with a clear, strategic vision and those who enter business with the hope of finding a stroke of luck or achieving quick results. The mindset of a genuine entrepreneur. The author begins by explaining that being a genuine entrepreneur involves much more than simply starting a business. A true entrepreneur does not enter the market hoping that everything will go well instantly. Successful entrepreneurs have a long-term vision and are aware that entrepreneurship is a process filled with obstacles, but also filled with opportunities for those willing to work hard and learn from their failures. Being an entrepreneur is not about having a great idea or looking for a magical solution. It's about understanding market dynamics, risk management, and business management tactics. Trías de Bes emphasizes that the difference between a true entrepreneur and a fortune tester lies in the mindset. While fortune testers hope their business will succeed by chance, authentic entrepreneurs work strategically, making decisions based on data, planning, and perseverance. Entrepreneurship or gambling. Trías de Bes draws an analogy between entrepreneurship and gambling at a casino. The fortune tester sees entrepreneurship as a gamble, similar to someone sitting at a gaming table hoping to win without knowing exactly how or why they will win. This kind of mindset can be dangerous, as, while there are cases where someone might get lucky, the probability of losing is much higher if the fundamental principles of business and risk management are ignored. On the other hand, the genuine entrepreneur does not view their business as a game of chance, but as a process of trial and error, where each step is taken with the understanding that mistakes can be part of the path to success. True entrepreneurs learn from their failures and adjust their approach based on the information they gather throughout the process. The importance of a plan and strategy. The chapter continues by emphasizing the importance of planning in entrepreneurship. Trías de Bes underlines that the fundamental difference between strategic entrepreneurship and testing one's luck is planning. Successful entrepreneurs know that they need to have a business plan, a clear strategy for managing their company, and be prepared to face adversity. A business plan is not just a tool for attracting investors, but a roadmap that guides the entrepreneur's daily decisions. A solid plan helps entrepreneurs visualize what they want to achieve in the long term, the investments they need to make, and the marketing strategies they will use to reach their customers. Without a clear strategy, it is easy for entrepreneurs to fall into chaos or improvisation, which are more common characteristics of fortune testers. Risk management. How does an entrepreneur face it? Another fundamental aspect that Trías de Bes addresses is risk management. Fortune testers tend to overlook or underestimate the risks of their business, which can be fatal. Authentic entrepreneurs, on the other hand, manage risks wisely. They recognize that risks are always present, but they face them in a calculated way. These entrepreneurs seek to minimize risks through proper management, diversification, and strategic planning that allows them to adapt to unexpected changes. The author also mentions that successful entrepreneurs are those who do not fear failure but prepare for it. They know that risk is inevitable, but they focus on learning from their mistakes and adjusting their strategy as necessary. The mistake of looking for the stroke of luck. The chapter also addresses how fortune testers focus on luck rather than hard work and strategy. These individuals often base their hopes on the belief that their business will be a great opportunity without risks. Trías de Bes emphasizes that, although the market can be unpredictable, successful entrepreneurs do not depend on luck, but on their ability to adapt and learn. The desire to achieve quick results can lead to impulsive decisions, such as investing large sums of money in an idea without validating it first or jumping into a market without fully understanding it. Fortune testers tend to think that success will happen instantly, while real entrepreneurs know that success is built step by step, and the key is to persevere over time, even when results are not immediate. Conclusion: Entrepreneurship as a learning journey. In concluding this chapter, Trías de Bes reminds us that entrepreneurship is a long and challenging path, full of learning, trials, and sometimes failures. The key to being a successful entrepreneur is not in seeking a great opportunity or a brilliant idea by chance, but in being strategic, managing risks wisely, and most importantly, being willing to learn and adapt constantly. The true entrepreneur is the one who works consistently on their idea, mentally prepares for failures, and above all, maintains a clear vision of what they want to achieve in the long run. On the other hand, the fortune tester may win in the short term, but the lack of planning and management will inevitably lead them to failure. With this chapter, Trías de Bes establishes a clear distinction between being a genuine entrepreneur and a fortune tester. In the next chapter, we will explore the lamentable reasons behind entrepreneurship, breaking down the wrong reasons that may drive someone to start a business without truly being prepared. Chapter 3: The Lamentable Reasons Behind Entrepreneurship. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes delves into the wrong reasons that drive many people to start a business without true preparation or a clear vision. Through a detailed analysis, the author reveals that, while entrepreneurship can be an exciting and potentially successful path, many people begin their journey with the wrong motives, which often lead to failure. The myth of becoming your own boss. One of the first and most common misguided reasons Trías de Bes identifies is the belief that being an entrepreneur will give you more control over your time. Many people start their businesses with the idea that entrepreneurship will grant them freedom and flexibility. However, the reality is quite different. The author points out that, at first, entrepreneurs often work more hours than those with traditional jobs. Instead of having more free time, they find themselves trapped in the constant responsibility of making their business work. The first years are the most intense in terms of work and dedication, making the being your own boss motivation, in many cases, an illusion. Trías de Bes warns that entrepreneurship is, at first, a total commitment that requires constant dedication. Entrepreneurs must be willing to sacrifice personal time and live a life very different from that of a traditional employee, especially at the beginning. The desire to escape the routine. Another lamentable reason is the idea that entrepreneurship is a way to escape a boring job or an unsatisfying routine. Many people, dissatisfied with their work situation, decide to start a business to leave behind what they perceive as a monotonous and unexciting life. This mentality is dangerous, as entrepreneurship is not a solution to a boring life, but rather a constant challenge that demands much more than just escaping the daily grind. The author emphasizes that starting a business to flee from something should never be the true driving force behind the decision to become an entrepreneur. Successful entrepreneurs must have clear, positive motives, such as the desire to create something valuable or solve a real problem. Escaping a life you don't like rarely leads to business success, as it is not a strong enough motivation to face the obstacles and pressures that come with running a business. The search for immediate wealth. A classic reason that Trías de Bes points out as misguided is the search for quick wealth. In today's society, with examples of entrepreneurs who have achieved success unexpectedly, many start businesses with the hope of getting rich quickly. However, the author highlights that this approach can be dangerous and disillusioning, as very few businesses achieve success quickly. The true process of entrepreneurship involves years of work, adaptation, and persistence. Most successful entrepreneurs do not become wealthy overnight. Instead of focusing on immediate wealth, entrepreneurs should focus on creating value, providing solutions, and building a sustainable business in the long term. That's entrepreneur's dream versus the reality of business. Trías de Bes explains that many novice entrepreneurs often have an idealized image of entrepreneurship, influenced by success stories or cases of millionaire businesses that seem to appear out of nowhere. This romantic vision can lead new entrepreneurs to have unrealistic expectations and underestimate the difficulties involved in running a business. The author points out that the reality of business is much more complex and challenging. Managing a business involves resource management, strategic decision-making, team supervision, and constant adaptation to market changes. The illusion that entrepreneurship is simply a way to achieve easy and quick success is a dangerous trap. The misconception of not needing education. A lamentable reason that Trías de Bes mentions is the belief that no training is needed to become an entrepreneur. Many people jump into business with the idea that experience or passion for the idea is enough to achieve success. However, the author emphasizes that entrepreneurship requires a vast amount of knowledge in areas such as finance, marketing, human resources management, and business strategy. Continuous learning is crucial for entrepreneurs. Even those with a great idea or passion for their project need proper training to understand the practical aspects of the business and avoid costly mistakes. Trías de Bes stresses that ongoing education is one of the keys to survival and success in the business world. The myth of the all-powerful entrepreneur. The author also demystifies the idea that the entrepreneur is an all-powerful being capable of solving everything on their own. The reality of entrepreneurship is that, in many cases, teamwork and delegating responsibilities are required. Many entrepreneurs try to do everything themselves, which can be counterproductive. Trías de Bes highlights that a good entrepreneur knows how to surround themselves with competent people, delegate tasks, and leverage collective talent. Proper team management and collaboration are essential to achieving success in business. The belief that the entrepreneur must do everything themselves is one of the most common mistakes, leading to burnout and, eventually, failure. Conclusion: the right path to entrepreneurship. The chapter concludes with a reminder that the right reasons for starting a business should be based on the passion for creating value, solving real problems, and the willingness to work hard over time. Successful entrepreneurs do not focus on immediate wealth, escaping an uncomfortable situation, or hoping for luck. Being a good entrepreneur means having the ability to learn from failures, adapt to market changes, and maintain a clear vision of what one wants to achieve in the long term. Instead of basing entrepreneurship on misguided reasons, entrepreneurs should make well-founded decisions, be prepared for constant effort, and be aware of the challenges they face. This chapter underscores the importance of having clear and realistic motivations when embarking on entrepreneurship, which is essential for survival and success in business. In the next chapter, we will explore the relationship between entrepreneurs and firefighters, understanding how crisis management becomes a fundamental skill for any entrepreneur. Chapter 4: Entrepreneurs and Firefighters. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes establishes one of the book's most powerful analogies: the comparison between entrepreneurs and firefighters. The relationship between the two, although it may seem strange at first, perfectly reflects the nature of entrepreneurship. Trías de Bes shows us how entrepreneurs must be prepared to face crises, manage them efficiently, and, in many cases, act quickly, just like a firefighter putting out a fire. The ability to manage emergency situations is fundamental in the process of building a business, and this chapter delves into how entrepreneurs must approach the inherent difficulties in their work. The entrepreneur as a firefighter. The author begins the chapter by establishing that, just like firefighters, entrepreneurs are constantly faced with unforeseen situations. Trías de Bes emphasizes that entrepreneurship is not only about creating something from nothing, it also involves the constant management of crises. Entrepreneurs, in their daily lives, are forced to put out fires that arise from every corner of the business. Cash flow problems, issues with suppliers, delays in deliveries, or even problems with customers that could jeopardize the company's reputation. The entrepreneur's ability to react quickly to these problems is crucial. Just like a firefighter facing a blaze, the entrepreneur must remain calm under pressure and be able to make strategic decisions to mitigate the damage. The key difference between a good entrepreneur and a bad one is the ability to manage and solve problems without losing perspective and the long-term vision of the business. Preparation. The turning point. One of the key points that Trías de Bes highlights is that, just like a firefighter who constantly trains to be ready for any emergency, a successful entrepreneur must be prepared to face any crisis. In this sense, constant preparation is crucial. The entrepreneur must know their business, its weaknesses, the areas of risk, and always be alert to potential threats that may arise, both in the environment and within the company itself. Crisis management starts with foresight and prevention. The best entrepreneurs don't wait for problems to arise before reacting. Instead, they anticipate difficulties. They have contingency plans in place and ensure they have resources and strategies to face the unexpected. Trías de Bes suggests that, just as firefighters practice drills, entrepreneurs should also conduct crisis management drills, identify potential risks in their businesses, and plan how they would act in case of an emergency. This preparation will allow them to react quickly and adapt to the circumstances, thus minimizing negative consequences. Crisis as an opportunity for growth. Although crises may seem like negative situations, Trías de Bes argues that, when managed properly, they can become opportunities. At this point, Trías de Bes sets up a key analogy. Just as a firefighter learns new techniques and improves their processes after each fire, entrepreneurs can use crises to innovate, improve their systems, and learn from their mistakes. Every crisis is an opportunity to grow and adapt to new market realities. In difficult moments, entrepreneurs must be able to draw lessons from each obstacle they face. The mindset of a learner is crucial to seeing crises as a form of evolution and continuous improvement. Instead of giving up or seeing a crisis as a failure, entrepreneurs must adjust their business model, improve their processes, and strengthen their resilience. Trías de Bes emphasizes that the ability to transform crises into opportunities for improvement is what distinguishes successful entrepreneurs from those who give up when things get tough. The inherent risk. Firefighters aren't afraid of fire. A key aspect of entrepreneurship that Trías de Bes highlights is the inherent risk. Just as firefighters face fire without fear, entrepreneurs must be willing to make risky decisions. Risk management is part of the entrepreneur's daily work, and it's not about avoiding risk, but managing it effectively. The author points out that there is no business without risk, and failure is part of the entrepreneurial journey. The difference between a firefighter and an entrepreneur is that the former knows they must enter a fire, while the latter enters the market's fire with proper preparation. Trías de Bes recommends that entrepreneurs face risk strategically, not with fear. They should have contingency plans, constantly monitor their environment, and be flexible to adapt to new circumstances. Instead of fleeing from risk, entrepreneurs should accept it as part of the process and manage it in a way that doesn't endanger the business. The entrepreneur in the face of adversity. Tough decisions. Throughout the chapter, Trías de Bes addresses the difficult decisions entrepreneurs must make when crises arise. These decisions may include reducing expenses, changing the business model, laying off employees, or restructuring the company. Although these decisions are not easy, The entrepreneur must be able to make them quickly and with determination. Decision-making under pressure is what makes the difference between success and failure. The author emphasizes that entrepreneurs must trust their instincts and have the courage to do whatever is necessary to save their business. Sometimes, the toughest decisions are the ones that ensure long-term survival. Trías de Bes reminds us that mistakes should not be feared, as they are part of the learning and growth process. The team and crisis management. Trías de Bes also highlights the importance of having a good team during crises. Just as a firefighter needs a support team to handle emergency situations, the entrepreneur should not be alone when things get complicated. It's essential to surround oneself with competent, motivated people with a resilient mindset who can help solve problems together. Teamwork is key to managing crises effectively. A well-prepared team, with defined roles and clear communication, can tackle challenges much more effectively than an entrepreneur alone. Trías de Bes emphasizes that entrepreneurs must be able to delegate responsibilities and trust their team's talent to make necessary decisions. Conclusion: the entrepreneur's resilience. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the resilience that every entrepreneur must have. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from adversity and keep moving forward despite obstacles. Just as firefighters don't give up in the face of a fire, entrepreneurs must be able to face crises with determination and emerge stronger from them. Being a good entrepreneur not only involves having a great idea or managing the day-to-day operations of the business, but also being able to face and overcome the difficulties that will inevitably arise. The ability to extinguish fires quickly and effectively is what makes an entrepreneur truly successful. Chapter 5. A Pass to Travel Through Businessland. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes introduces the concept of businessland, a term he uses to describe the complex world of entrepreneurship. Trías de Bes compares this world to a territory filled with unwritten rules, potential traps, and opportunities. To navigate this country successfully, the entrepreneur needs a pass, a kind of tool or key strategy that allows them to move effectively and avoid falling into the multiple difficulties that may arise. The concept of businessland. Trías de Bes defines businessland as a place full of uncertainties, unforeseen problems, and continuous challenges. However, it is also a place where great opportunities exist for those who understand its rules. Just as any country has laws, customs, and behaviors that citizens must understand to thrive, businessland has its own set of rules that only well-prepared entrepreneurs are capable of understanding and managing effectively. The pass that Trías de Bes refers to is a strategy or a set of skills and knowledge that enables the entrepreneur to navigate this uncertain world successfully. The author points out that having a good business idea is not enough. It's essential to have a well-structured plan, be informed about the market, understand the costs and risks involved, and have the ability to adapt to changes and new opportunities. The importance of understanding the rules of the game. Trías de Bes emphasizes that to thrive in businessland, an entrepreneur must deeply understand the rules of business. These rules include aspects such as money management, the importance of innovation, creating real value for the customer, and adaptability to market changes. Entrepreneurs who ignore these rules often face many difficulties, as even though they may have a good idea, they don't know how to execute it in the proper context. Furthermore, the rules of businessland are different from those of a traditional job. An entrepreneur does not have a fixed salary, nor does anyone tell them what to do every day. Therefore, they must be capable of making decisions on their own and taking responsibility for both their successes and failures. Self-discipline and an entrepreneurial mindset are crucial for navigating this world. Opportunities in businessland. Despite the risks and challenges that businessland entails, it is also a place full of opportunities for those who are well prepared. Trías de Bes points out that successful entrepreneurs are those who can identify and seize these opportunities, even when they are not obvious at first. One key aspect of opportunities in businessland is innovation. Successful companies are those that bring something new to the market or significantly improve what already exists. However, Trías de Bes warns that innovation is not always synonymous with success, and entrepreneurs must validate their ideas before launching them into the market. The pass. What do you need to navigate businessland? The author defines the pass as a set of skills and tools that allow the entrepreneur to survive and thrive in businessland. Some of the most important components of this pass include market knowledge. Trías de Bes emphasizes that understanding customer needs and desires is key to success. Entrepreneurs must thoroughly research the market, identify niches, and understand the behaviors of potential consumers. Without this knowledge, the likelihood of failure increases considerably. Financial management. One of the most critical points for entrepreneurs is managing money. Trías de Bes stresses that many entrepreneurs fail because they don't manage their finances properly. Having adequate cash flow, knowing when to invest and when to save, and understanding how to manage fixed and variable costs are essential for maintaining a healthy business. Adaptability. Businessland is constantly changing, and entrepreneurs must be flexible and willing to adapt quickly. The ability to adjust to new technologies, regulatory changes, or new market trends can make the difference between success and failure. The pass, therefore, includes an open mindset for learning and evolving. Resilience and perseverance. Another essential component of the pass is resilience. In businessland, obstacles and failures are inevitable. Entrepreneurs must be able to overcome adversity and stay motivated during difficult times. Perseverance is key to moving forward despite setbacks and difficulties. Support networks. You cannot venture alone. The pass also includes knowing how to surround oneself with competent people who can support the process. This includes mentors, strategic partners, committed employees, and industry contacts. The ability to build a strong support network can be crucial in overcoming obstacles and seizing new opportunities. The risk of ignoring the rules. Trías de Bes warns that entrepreneurs who try to ignore the rules or take shortcuts can quickly find themselves on a dangerous path. Although stories of fast success are prevalent in the media, the author points out that the reality of entrepreneurship is more complicated. People who dive into business without fully understanding how the system works, without proper preparation, or without a clear plan, often face more obstacles and are more exposed to failure. Conclusion. Preparation as the key. This chapter concludes by highlighting that the successful entrepreneur is not the lucky one, but the one who is well prepared to face the challenges of businessland. The path to navigate this world is not a single factor, but the combination of skills, knowledge, and an adaptive attitude towards change. Entrepreneurs must be willing to learn, adapt to new circumstances, and, above all, manage risks effectively. The chapter also emphasizes that there are no magic formulas for business success. Businessland is a complex terrain, but for those who are well prepared and willing to invest time and effort, opportunities for success are within reach. The path is constant preparation and the ability to adapt to the changing realities of the market. Chapter 6. Better Alone Than in Bad Company. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes addresses one of the most important dilemmas entrepreneurs face. Is it better to start solo or with a partner? Although the figure of the lone entrepreneur has been romanticized over the years, Trías de Bes suggests that, in many cases, it is preferable to be alone than poorly accompanied. The temptation of having a partner. The author begins by describing how many entrepreneurs are drawn to the idea of having a partner from the start, thinking that two heads are better than one and that partners can divide the work and increase the chances of success. However, Trías de Bes warns that having a partner is not always a magic solution, and that in many cases, poorly chosen partnerships can jeopardize the business. Partnerships may seem attractive at first because they allow sharing risks and responsibilities, but they also introduce potential conflicts. Differences in opinions, goals, and values between partners can lead to disagreements that affect decision-making and, ultimately, the business's functioning. Trías de Bes argues that conflicts between partners are one of the most common causes of business failures. The risk of choosing the wrong partner. One of the key reasons Trías de Bes recommends solo entrepreneurship is the difficulty of finding the right partner. Choosing a partner merely for financial reasons or emotional support is not always the best option. Trías de Bes points out that in partnerships, personal issues and discrepancies in business vision can be a significant obstacle. The relationship between partners must be based on mutual commitment, but also on compatibility of goals and values. The author mentions that the most successful partnerships often arise from prior relationships where there is great trust and open communication. Entrepreneurs must be very careful when selecting partners, ensuring that both share the same long-term vision and have complementary skills rather than duplicating efforts or competencies. Control issues. One of the biggest problems Trías de Bes highlights when working with a partner is the loss of control. By sharing decision-making, a partner may feel limited by a lack of autonomy, and distrust can arise between the parties. Trías de Bes emphasizes that when partners do not share a unified vision for the company, key decisions may be subject to conflicts that hinder business performance. The author also points out that the lack of control over the business can make an entrepreneur feel frustrated, especially if they do not have the final say on crucial issues. This lack of control can lead to distrust among partners and, eventually, to the collapse of the partnership. The freedom of solo entrepreneurship. On the other hand, entrepreneurship alone offers the advantage of having total freedom to make decisions without consulting anyone else. This autonomy is particularly important when quick decisions need to be made or when flexibility is required to adapt to a changing market. Starting a business alone also allows the entrepreneur to have full control over business strategies and the direction the company will take. Although working solo may be more challenging and require greater effort, the satisfaction of making decisions without compromising with others can be very rewarding for many entrepreneurs. Additionally, Trías de Bes emphasizes that solo entrepreneurship allows the entrepreneur to have a clear, conflict-free vision of how the business should move forward. The balance between solitude and collaboration. Although Trías de Bes defends the option of solo entrepreneurship, he also acknowledges that collaboration remains essential for success. The author is not suggesting that entrepreneurs should isolate themselves completely, but that they should be selective about collaboration. Instead of forming formal partnerships, entrepreneurs can seek strategic collaborators or mentors who offer support without compromising business autonomy. Strategic alliances can be an excellent way to leverage the strengths of others without having to share ownership of the business or fundamental decisions. Trías de Bes stresses that collaborating with experts or other businesses can be an effective way to access additional resources, such as capital, networks, or specialized knowledge, without losing full control of the business. The importance of individual decisions. The author also mentions that entrepreneurs are often unaware that individual decisions have a profound impact on the business. Making decisions autonomously, while it may seem more complicated at first, allows for greater coherence in business strategy. Trías de Bes argues that, in the end, the toughest decisions are the ones that must be made alone, and these decisions often require courage and vision. When is a partner necessary? However, Trías de Bes also recognizes that in some cases, a partner may be necessary, especially when additional capital, technical expertise, or a specific network of contacts is required. While the author advises caution in selecting a partner, he does not rule out the idea of partnering as long as there is mutual trust and shared goals. Conclusion: Entrepreneurship with caution. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the importance of making decisions carefully when it comes to partners. Trías de Bes warns that while having a partner may seem attractive, it is essential that entrepreneurs be highly selective and not partner with someone merely for convenience. Rather than seeking someone out of necessity, entrepreneurs should form relationships based on trust and complementary skills. In many cases, starting a business alone is the best option for maintaining full control and guiding the business to success. This chapter has discussed the advantages and disadvantages of solo entrepreneurship versus having a partner. The next chapter will explore how partners can influence the creation of a business and the common mistakes that lead to poor partner choices. Chapter 7. Who would you get into a submarine with to go around the world? In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes makes one of the most striking comparisons in the book. Entrepreneurship is like getting into a submarine to go around the world. Throughout this chapter, Trías de Bes invites us to reflect on the choice of partners and the importance of surrounding oneself with the right people on the entrepreneurial journey. The submarine analogy. The submarine comparison refers to the intense and confined nature of the business journey. Just like a submarine is a small and closed space where crew members must work together to maintain course, The entrepreneur must carefully select the people with whom they will embark on their business journey. In the world of entrepreneurship, it is not just about choosing someone to share the benefits with, but about choosing someone to share the tough moments with. Trías de Bes emphasizes that while it is easy to get excited about the idea of having partners who bring capital or experience, the real test is working together under pressure. The importance of compatibility. One of the first lessons of the chapter is that, when choosing partners, it is not only important what they can bring in terms of skills or money, but how compatible they are with the entrepreneur. Trías de Bes gives the example of two people with different work styles, values, or business vision clashing, leading to conflicts that can endanger the business. Just as in a submarine, the tensions and constraints of the space can test the relationships between the crew members, in the world of entrepreneurship, the pressures of the market, lack of money, tight deadlines, and constant uncertainty can quickly expose differences between partners. Therefore, compatibility is key. Partners must be able to work together harmoniously, respecting each other's strengths and differences, while keeping the common goal in sight. The entrepreneur must ask themselves, who do I choose for this journey? Trías de Bes suggests that the entrepreneur should perform a kind of mental test before partnering with someone. It's about asking, who do I choose for this journey? Would this person be someone I trust in an extreme situation? Someone with whom I would share such an intense experience as going around the world in a submarine? The author stresses that entrepreneurship is a long journey full of obstacles, and the key to success lies in surrounding oneself with the right people. No matter how brilliant a business idea is, if partners are not aligned in terms of values and goals, success is unlikely. Trías de Bes urges entrepreneurs to carefully evaluate potential partners, asking not only if they have the necessary skills but also if they share the same long-term vision. Resilience in times of crisis. One of the most critical moments in any business partnership is when difficulties arise. In times of crisis, the relationship between partners can be tested. Trías de Bes emphasizes that a partner's true resilience is demonstrated when things are not going well. The ability to stay calm, solve problems together, and continue moving forward as a team will determine the success or failure of the partnership. According to Trías de Bes, a good partner is someone who, when things get tough, does not abandon ship or place blame on each other, but instead remains committed to the project. This is crucial because businesses rarely grow without obstacles. Partners who are emotionally mature and can maintain resilience during crises are the most valuable. Managing conflicts. In any partnership, conflicts are inevitable, but what matters is how they are managed. Trías de Bes points out that the ability to resolve disagreements constructively is one of the most valuable skills in a partner. If two people have different opinions on the direction of the business, they must be able to negotiate and find a common solution without risking the working relationship. The author highlights that the best entrepreneurs are those who train their ability to listen, understand, and negotiate with their partners, without falling into authoritarianism or intransigence. The team must be able to discuss openly, but with respect and professionalism, always focused on the well-being of the business. Chemistry and communication, the glue of a partnership. The chapter also highlights that one of the keys to a successful business partnership is the chemistry between partners. Open communication and mutual trust are essential to maintaining cohesion within the team. Trías de Bes suggests that entrepreneurs should choose partners with whom they have a good interpersonal relationship and can establish fluid and transparent communication. Often, poor personal relationships between partners are the underlying cause of professional conflicts. Empathy, mutual respect, and a willingness to listen are essential qualities that must exist in any partnership. Trías de Bes reminds us that an ideal partner is not just someone with great technical ability or substantial capital. It is someone with whom a vision can be shared and work can be done together toward a common goal. Conclusion: the value of choosing the right partners. The chapter concludes with a final reflection on the importance of choosing the right partners in the entrepreneurial journey. Trías de Bes emphasizes that while entrepreneurs may need support, it is crucial that this help comes from someone suitable, someone who shares the same work ethic, values, and commitment. The entrepreneurial journey should not be taken lightly, and choosing the wrong people can make the journey much more difficult than necessary. This chapter underscores the importance of selecting the right partners and how often the real challenge is not so much the idea or the money, but the interpersonal relationship and compatibility. In the next chapter, we will explore the unfortunate reasons for partnering and how certain types of business relationships can be detrimental to long-term success. Chapter 8. The Unfortunate Reasons for Partners. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes delves into the wrong reasons that may lead people to partner in a business. Throughout the text, the author highlights how certain superficial or misguided motives for forming a partnership can be the root of conflicts and business failures. The desire for easy money. One of the most common reasons Trías de Bes identifies as unfortunate is the belief that having a partner is the quick path to success and easy wealth. Many people are drawn to the idea of partnering with someone to gain access to capital or resources, thinking this will allow them to grow quickly with little effort. The author emphasizes that while partnerships can provide additional financial resources, money alone does not guarantee success. The business must be based on real value, and the pursuit of easy money through a partnership can lead to rushed decisions or a lack of commitment from the partners. Trías de Bes stresses that business success is not about finding a partner to fund you, but about creating a solid business capable of generating long-term value. The desire to escape loneliness. Another unfortunate reason that drives people to seek a partner is the desire to escape the loneliness of entrepreneurship. Many entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed or demotivated by the burden of making all the decisions themselves and look for a partner simply to share the weight of the business. Trías de Bes explains that this reason is problematic because, although having a partner can offer companionship in tough times, it should not be the only reason to form a partnership. Entrepreneurship is an individual process, and while support is valuable, the decision to start a business should not be solely based on the emotional need not to be alone. The business partnership should be based on complementary skills and a mutual commitment to the business. The partner as a lifeline. Some entrepreneurs, especially those with little experience, tend to see a partner as a lifeline that will protect them from the risks and challenges of the business. Trías de Bes warns that this is a wrong way of viewing the business partnership. Partners should not be chosen because the entrepreneur wants to avoid responsibilities or delegate risks. The partnership should be based on mutual trust and complementary skills, not on the desire for a rescue partner to bear the weight of the difficulties. In most cases, when an entrepreneur seeks a partner for this reason, they are not recognizing the importance of managing their own business responsibly. Trías de Bes emphasizes that successful entrepreneurs are those who take responsibility for their business and do not depend on anyone else to survive or thrive. The misconception of business companion. Another unfortunate reason is seeing partners as life companions or close friends. While trust and good interpersonal relationships are essential for a successful partnership, Trías de Bes warns that it is not always a good idea to partner with close friends or family if the relationship is not based on professional complementarity. The author explains that personal relationships can interfere with objective decision-making and business management. When disagreements or problems arise in the partnership, emotional ties can complicate conflict resolution. Partners must have a relationship of mutual respect and professionalism, not just a personal relationship. Partnering with friends or family can cause one to lose sight of the main goal, growing the business. The lack of complementary skills. One of the most frequent mistakes is partnering with someone who has similar skills to one's own, rather than seeking a partner who brings something different. Trías de Bes highlights that a successful partnership is based on complementary skills, where each partner can contribute their unique expertise to the project. The key is to strategically divide roles and responsibilities to make the most of each partner's strengths. For example, if an entrepreneur has a great product idea but lacks skills in sales or finance, they should seek a partner with experience in those fields. Partnering with someone who does not bring new skills can create confusion and disorganization within the business. The complementarity of skills is a fundamental factor for a partnership to work efficiently and effectively. The long-term vision and alignment of interests. The chapter also emphasizes the need for alignment of vision between partners. Trías de Bes explains that, while initially it may seem that two people are committed to a common project, there are often differences regarding long-term goals or personal aspirations. Partners must be fully aligned regarding their professional aspirations and the vision for the business. If one partner seeks to sell the business quickly for immediate profits, while the other is focused on building a sustainable company for the long term, these differences can lead to conflicts and significant disagreements. Conflicts and how to manage them. Finally, Trías de Bes addresses how conflicts can arise even between the most committed partners. Throughout the chapter, he reminds us that conflicts are inevitable in any business partnership, but what truly matters is how they are managed. Partners must be able to resolve their differences constructively without losing sight of the common goal. The author recommends establishing clear communication channels and having a conflict resolution plan in place before tensions arise. Transparency, honesty, and flexibility are essential qualities in any partnership, especially when businesses go through tough times. Conclusion: the power of choosing partners. The chapter concludes by highlighting the importance of making strategic and thoughtful decisions when selecting partners. Not all reasons are valid, and the entrepreneur must be willing to question their personal motivations to ensure they are forming a solid and effective partnership. Choosing partners with complementary skills, an aligned vision, and a professional rather than emotional approach is key to overcoming business obstacles. This chapter emphasizes the importance of choosing the right partners and how certain misguided motives can lead to a partnership's failure. In the next chapter, we will explore the importance of diversifying business ideas and how not to put all your eggs in one basket. Chapter 9. The importance of diversifying business ideas. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes highlights one of the key principles for successful entrepreneurship: diversification. Throughout the text, the author explains why it is essential not to put all your eggs in one basket and how diversification can protect entrepreneurs from the risks inherent in the business world. The danger of focusing on a single idea. Trías de Bes begins by pointing out that many entrepreneurs fall into the trap of focusing all their energy and resources on a single business idea. While having a clear vision is important, the author warns that relying too much on one source of income or a single product or service line can be risky. The market is uncertain and constantly changing, so depending on just one business idea can expose the entrepreneur to significant risks if that idea does not work as expected. The failure of a single project can endanger the entire business, making diversification a fundamental strategy to minimize risk. Diversification, a strategy to manage risks. The author emphasizes that diversification is not just about doing more things or launching random products, but about having planned strategies that allow the entrepreneur to distribute risks and have multiple sources of income. Diversification means identifying different business areas or markets to invest in and not putting all resources into a single opportunity. Good diversification allows entrepreneurs to maintain the stability of their business when one of their projects experiences difficulties or market downturns. Trías de Bes uses the example of the financial investment world, where diversification is the key strategy to minimize the risk of major losses. The multiple phases of diversification. The author discusses the different ways in which an entrepreneur can diversify their business. Some of the main forms of diversification include product or service diversification. A business that offers a variety of products or services has more opportunities to tap into different market segments and meet diverse consumer needs. This type of diversification allows the entrepreneur to expand their reach and adapt to various demands. Geographic diversification, not limiting oneself to a local market, is another form of diversification. Expanding the business to other territories, whether nationally or internationally, can open new income opportunities and reduce the risk of depending on a single location or region. Trías de Bes reminds us that geographic risk can be mitigated by operating in different markets, especially if those markets have complementary demands. Diversification in sales channels. A key aspect of diversification is using various distribution channels to reach customers. This includes e-commerce, physical stores, direct sales, or even collaborations with other distributors. The multi-channel strategy not only improves the business's visibility but also allows the entrepreneur to adapt to the different ways consumers make purchases. Diversification as protection against uncertainty. One of the most relevant aspects that Trías de Bes highlights is that diversification serves as protection against uncertainty. Markets change, consumers evolve, and new technologies emerge that can drastically alter industries. For entrepreneurs, preparing for the unexpected is crucial to long-term survival. For example, a company that depends exclusively on a single product can be quickly affected if that product becomes irrelevant or is replaced by more advanced technology. In contrast, a business that has multiple fronts open can adjust more easily to market changes because its revenue comes from diverse sources. Diversification does not mean spreading thin. Despite the benefits of diversification, Trías de Bes emphasizes that this strategy must be implemented strategically. It's not about spreading across too many areas without the proper knowledge or resources. Diversification should be planned and based on a solid understanding of the business's capabilities and market opportunities. The author also warns about the risk of over-diversifying, which can lead to a lack of focus and make efficient resource management more difficult. A business that launches too many projects at once can end up losing its direction, as the scattered management of various ideas may weaken the effectiveness of each one. Diversification in partners and collaborators. Diversification should also take place at the partner and collaborator level. Trías de Bes argues that entrepreneurs should avoid surrounding themselves with people who have the same vision or similar approaches. Instead, diversity should be sought in the team, looking for complementary skills and varied perspectives. Having partners and collaborators who bring different skills and experiences can enrich the business, allowing it to address problems from different angles. The diversity of thought is key to solving complex challenges and adapting to a constantly changing market. Diversification as a means of growth. In addition to protecting against risks, diversification is also a powerful tool for growth. By expanding into new products, markets, or channels, entrepreneurs can increase their revenue opportunities and explore new market niches that were not previously evident. Trías de Bes also emphasizes that, for diversification to be successful, it must be based on detailed analysis and a good understanding of the market. It is not enough to make changes just for the sake of it. Each step must be strategic and grounded in solid data. Conclusion: diversification is key, but with strategy. The chapter concludes with a clear message. Diversification is essential to protect against market risks and increase growth opportunities, but only if done strategically and thoughtfully. Entrepreneurs should avoid the temptation to diversify without control and, instead, focus on calculated expansions that bring real value to the business. This chapter highlights the importance of properly diversifying to increase the chances of success in business while managing risks. In the next chapter, we will explore how an entrepreneur's happy idea can be a risk if not analyzed in detail. Chapter 10. Only an unhappy person trusts their happy idea. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes delves into one of the most common mistakes entrepreneurs make when starting their business: blindly trusting their happy idea. This concept refers to the tendency of many entrepreneurs to fall in love with their own idea without subjecting it to realistic and objective evaluation. Trías de Bes stresses that ideas must be questioned, tested, and validated before being launched to the market. Blindness to the potential flaws of an idea, no matter how innovative it is, can lead to failure if the necessary measures are not taken to ensure that it truly has a market and is viable. The happy idea. A romanticized and idealized vision. The concept of the happy idea is a way of idealizing a business, product, or service that, in many cases, the entrepreneur perceives as the ultimate solution or the groundbreaking invention that will revolutionize the market. Trías de Bes explains that these types of ideas usually arise from the entrepreneur's excitement and passion, which can lead to a distorted view of the idea's real viability. Enthusiasm is natural in the early stages of conceiving a business, but sometimes that excitement can cause entrepreneurs to overlook objectivity. The author points out that it is essential to question the idea, not only to ensure that it is practical and feasible but also to avoid falling into the emotional trap of believing that the market will automatically embrace a product just because the entrepreneur believes in its quality. Trías de Bes insists that all entrepreneurs must be aware that the market is not obligated to accept an idea simply because its creator believes in it. Passion is not enough. One of the most critical aspects that Trías de Bes highlights is that, although passion is fundamental to entrepreneurial success, it cannot be the only driving force behind the business. Passion for an idea does not guarantee that it will translate into success. Trías de Bes mentions that entrepreneurs often fall in love with their ideas without considering crucial factors like real market demand, competition, production costs, and profitability. The author warns that blind passion can be a risk factor if not balanced with a rigorous analysis of the environment and the idea's viability. Despite the value of passion, the entrepreneur must be able to view their business critically and not be carried away by enthusiasm that, without validation or strategy, could turn into failure. Love for the idea must be accompanied by a deep analysis that identifies its strengths and weaknesses and anticipates whether it can truly meet a market need sustainably. Validation as the first step. Trías de Bes emphasizes that validating the idea is the first crucial step for any entrepreneur before launching to the market. For an idea to be viable, it must go through a validation process that involves testing the concepts and strategies in real market conditions. Validation not only includes consumer feedback but also an analysis of the competition, costs, and demand. The author recommends that entrepreneurs should not just stay in the theory of their idea, but seek concrete evidence that there is a real market willing to pay for their product or service. Trías de Bes points out that often, entrepreneurs fail because they assume that everyone wants what they are offering without doing the necessary research. Proof of concept, surveys with potential customers, and the creation of a minimum viable product are all essential tools to validate an idea before making large investments. Listening to criticism, learning to receive feedback. An essential part of the validation process is the entrepreneur's ability to listen to criticism and feedback from others, especially from potential customers. Trías de Bes highlights that often, the entrepreneur doesn't want to hear negative feedback about their idea because they are too emotionally involved in it. However, constructive feedback is invaluable as it helps adjust the idea, improve the product, and refine the value proposition. The author reminds us that honesty and openness are vital. If the entrepreneur is not willing to listen and learn from feedback, they could be condemning their business to failure. Trías de Bes emphasizes that entrepreneurs must be prepared to receive both praise and criticism, as both are necessary for continuously improving the product or service offered. The myth of the brilliant idea. Trías de Bes also debunks the myth of the brilliant idea that changes the world. The author warns that, although having a good idea is essential, business success does not solely depend on the idea itself but on the ability to execute that idea effectively. Often, entrepreneurs become obsessed with finding a perfect idea and fail to understand that execution is just as important, if not more so. The author notes that successful businesses often don't emerge from a revolutionary idea but from doing things well, understanding market needs, and constantly adapting to changes. Trías de Bes suggests that entrepreneurs should focus more on executing well and adjusting their business model based on real results rather than waiting to find the perfect idea. The fear of letting go of the happy idea. Throughout the chapter, the author also addresses the fear that many entrepreneurs have of letting go of their happy idea when testing and the market show it's not viable. Trías de Bes reminds us that the failure of an idea does not mean the failure of the entrepreneur. Letting go of an idea that doesn't work is a smart decision if they want to move forward with something more promising. The author emphasizes that flexibility is an essential quality of successful entrepreneurs. Those who learn from their failures and adapt are the ones who ultimately succeed, while those who cling to an idea that doesn't work out of pride or fear of failure are the ones most likely to fall behind. Conclusion: the value of criticism and self-criticism. In conclusion, Trías de Bes emphasizes that the true value of the entrepreneur lies in their ability to question their own idea, validate it, and adjust it based on market feedback. Although passion for the idea is important, it must be accompanied by constant critical analysis and the willingness to abandon an idea if it doesn't meet market expectations. Entrepreneurs need to understand that failure or rethinking the idea is not the end of the road but part of the learning process that leads to success. This chapter highlights the importance of validating ideas and not getting carried away by blind enthusiasm. In the next chapter, we will explore the importance of not putting all your eggs in one basket and how diversification can protect entrepreneurs from significant risks. Chapter 11. Never put all your eggs in one basket. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes discusses a fundamental principle of business and personal management: never put all your eggs in one basket. Throughout the text, the author reinforces the idea that diversification is essential to protect against the inherent risks of business, and distributing resources across different options can increase the chances of long-term success. The principle of diversification. Trías de Bes begins the chapter by explaining that, while focusing efforts on a single strategy or business area may seem like a good idea in the short term, the risk of relying on one source of income is high. If the entire success of a business depends on a single idea, product, or market, any unexpected change can threaten the stability of the company. The author compares this approach to putting all your eggs in one basket, an analogy suggesting that if the basket falls, all the eggs are lost. In other words, if the entrepreneur concentrates all their energy and resources on a single project without alternatives, the consequences of failure can be devastating. Diversification of products and services. One of the key points Trías de Bes highlights is the importance of diversifying the products or services the business offers. As an entrepreneur consolidates their position in the market, they should consider expanding their offering to avoid relying on a single product. This diversification protects the business against possible changes in demand or the introduction of new competitors. The author underscores that it's not just about having multiple products, but offering complementary products that cater to the needs of different consumer groups. Product diversification should be strategic and should not lead to dispersion. Each new product or service should be well researched and aligned with the business's mission. Geographic diversification. In addition to diversifying products or services, Trías de Bes also recommends geographic diversification as a way to expand reach and reduce risks. Limiting the business to a single region or market presents a significant risk, as the business could be affected by local factors such as regulatory changes, economic recessions, or competition. Expanding into international markets or different regions can be an effective way to increase the business's stability. However, Trías de Bes warns that geographic expansion should be done strategically and with a deep understanding of local dynamics. It's important to conduct a market analysis to ensure there is real demand in new locations before investing large amounts of resources. Diversification in distribution channels. Another important aspect of diversification is distribution. Trías de Bes notes that relying on a single distribution channel, whether direct sales, physical stores, or e-commerce, can be risky, as changes in consumer behavior or the economic environment can significantly affect that channel. For this reason, he recommends that entrepreneurs seek multiple distribution channels to reach different customer segments. Online sales, physical stores, partnerships with distributors, and affiliate marketing are just a few of the options entrepreneurs can explore. A multi-channel strategy not only allows reaching more customers, but it also protects the business from the vulnerability of depending on just one channel. The importance of having multiple sources of income. Trías de Bes reinforces the idea that, to minimize risks, a business should generate multiple sources of income. As an entrepreneur becomes established in the market, they may seek financial diversification opportunities. This could include investments in other assets, such as real estate, or even related businesses that leverage their expertise and knowledge. The author highlights that an entrepreneur with multiple sources of income is much better prepared to face market fluctuations or changes in demand. In this regard, Trías de Bes recommends not only relying on income generated from sales of products or services but exploring other business models that can complement the core activities. Diversification in the business structure. Diversification should also apply to the internal structure of the business. Trías de Bes suggests that entrepreneurs find ways to optimize their operations and reduce dependencies. This means not relying solely on a key employee but building a strong team with clearly defined roles. Furthermore, the author mentions that entrepreneurs should diversify the functions within the company, ensuring the business is more resilient and able to adapt quickly to unforeseen changes. Outsourcing certain functions or seeking strategic partners for different areas of the business can also be a way to diversify the operational structure. The risks of over-diversification. Despite all the benefits of diversification, Trías de Bes also warns about the danger of over-diversification. It's not about expanding the business in all directions without considering the impact of each decision. Diversification should be controlled and based on a thorough analysis of the market, competition, and the company's capabilities. The author emphasizes that diversification should have a clear purpose and should be sustainable. Expanding too quickly without the necessary resources or trying to cover too many markets or products can lead to a dispersion of efforts, which can negatively affect the overall performance of the business. Conclusion: diversification as a strategic tool. The chapter concludes with a reflection on how diversification is not just a tool for protecting against risks, but also a growth strategy. Entrepreneurs should carefully plan how to diversify their resources, markets, products, and sources of income so that each expansion adds value and does not scatter their efforts. Strategic diversification is key to strengthening the business and ensuring its sustained growth. This chapter has highlighted the importance of not concentrating all resources in a single area and how diversification can help entrepreneurs reduce risks and increase opportunities. In the next chapter, we will explore how an entrepreneur's life is not always balanced and how difficult decisions affect their emotional and mental health. Chapter 12. A tightrope walker can never be an entrepreneur. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes reflects on one of the most challenging concepts of entrepreneurship, the lack of balance. Trías de Bes explains that, although many people seek a perfect balance between their personal and professional life, entrepreneurship demands total dedication that often leads entrepreneurs to sacrifice other aspects of their life. The myth of balance. The author begins the chapter by saying that advice to seek balance between work and personal life is often heard. However, Trías de Bes argues that this concept is a myth when it comes to entrepreneurship. According to him, an entrepreneur cannot expect to have perfect balance between work and the rest of their life, as the nature of entrepreneurship requires excessive and constant dedication. Entrepreneurship is not a part-time activity, nor something that can be done occasionally. In the early years of a business, the entrepreneur is fully immersed in their project. The decisions they make, the hours they work, and the pressure they are under affect almost every aspect of their life. Therefore, the balance between work and personal life is unrealistic when building a business from scratch. Sacrifice is inevitable. Trías de Bes highlights that, at the beginning, sacrificing balance is necessary. Entrepreneurs must be willing to put aspects like family, leisure, or even physical health on the back burner in order to build their business. This sacrifice is, in many cases, the only way to ensure that the business grows, survives, and achieves financial stability. The author clarifies that this does not mean entrepreneurs should neglect their personal well-being. It's not an eternal sacrifice, but the first years are often an intense period in which the priority must be the business. Entrepreneurs must be aware that this sacrifice of time and resources is part of the necessary process to achieve success, and that the long-term results will justify the effort. Balance in decisions, not in time. While the author advocates the idea that a perfect balance is unattainable, he argues that entrepreneurs must learn to balance their decisions. Instead of seeking perfection in the time they dedicate to each area of their life, they should focus on making balanced decisions that favor business growth without compromising their mental or emotional health. Trías de Bes suggests that a successful entrepreneur is one who manages to find balance in their strategic decisions, understanding when to delegate, when to take a break, or when to invest more time in critical business areas. Balance is not static, but something that must be constantly adapted according to the circumstances at hand. The need for emotional resilience. A central theme in this chapter is the importance of emotional resilience. Trías de Bes argues that the entrepreneur must be emotionally strong to face the uncertainty, economic difficulties, and failures that are an inevitable part of the process. Entrepreneurs must be able to recover quickly from setbacks and maintain their motivation. Resilience is key because, on the entrepreneurial path, challenges go beyond financial aspects. There is a deep emotional component that can destabilize the entrepreneur, and success largely depends on their ability to manage stress, frustration, and the loneliness that sometimes comes with entrepreneurship. The balance between professional and personal life. Is it possible? Although the author acknowledges that perfect balance is nearly unattainable, he does not dismiss the idea that, as the business grows, the entrepreneur can achieve a better balance between work and personal life. In the early stage of the business, intense work is inevitable, but as the company grows and automated systems are established, delegation and team expansion allow the entrepreneur to dedicate more time to their personal life. Trías de Bes suggests that the goal is not to create a balanced life from the start, but to structure the business in a way that, over time, responsibilities can be delegated, decisions can be handed off, and a structure can be created that allows greater control over time. The importance of support along the way. Furthermore, the author mentions that one should not undertake entrepreneurship alone. While entrepreneurship requires personal sacrifice, having a support system is crucial. Family, mentors, and partners play an important role in the emotional resilience of the entrepreneur. It is impossible to achieve success without the support of others. Teamwork, beyond working hours. Teamwork is presented as one of the keys to achieving a balanced entrepreneurship in the long term. As the business grows, it is essential for the entrepreneur to surround their project with capable and trustworthy people who share the mission and values of the business. This will allow them to delegate tasks and free up time so that the entrepreneur can focus on long-term growth strategies rather than just daily management. Conclusion: balance is not a priority in the beginning. The chapter concludes with a reflection in which Trías de Bes reaffirms that balance should not be a priority in the early stages of a business. Sacrifice is necessary at this initial stage, but the long-term vision should include an adequate balance between work and personal life. Entrepreneurs must take advantage of the flexibility that success brings as their businesses grow, distributing work strategically. Emotional resilience, teamwork, and the proper management of decisions are the real elements of balance that allow entrepreneurs to thrive in the long run. This chapter emphasizes that, while a perfect balance cannot be achieved at the start of entrepreneurship, long-term success depends on the ability to make sacrifices and the skill to manage time and resources effectively. In the next chapter, we will explore how sales can enslave us and how a profit-oriented approach is essential for success. Chapter 13. Sales enslave us and profits fulfill us. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes examines one of the fundamental themes of entrepreneurship, the relationship between sales and profits. Throughout the discussion, Trías de Bes highlights a common mistake among entrepreneurs, especially those just starting, focusing exclusively on sales, believing that the number of sales is directly proportional to the success of their business. However, the author emphasizes that, although sales are necessary for a business to function, what truly matters is profitability. Profits are what will truly allow the business to grow, sustain itself, and remain viable in the long term. The myth that sales are everything. Trías de Bes begins the chapter by questioning a widely accepted belief among entrepreneurs. The more you sell, the more successful you will be. While it is undeniable that sales are essential for a business to thrive, the author warns against a mistaken approach that many entrepreneurs have when they think that increasing sales alone guarantees business success. Trías de Bes clarifies that high sales do not always translate into high profits. This happens because often, entrepreneurs who focus solely on sales overlook the associated costs and profit margins. This is a common mistake, especially in businesses with low profit margins or those that rely on massive sales to make a profit. The author points out that a business growing rapidly in terms of sales without proper control of costs can quickly run into financial problems. Companies can experience increased operating expenses, customer acquisition costs, marketing expenses, and other variable costs that, while not directly affecting sales, can drastically reduce the profits generated. Sales do not free us, they enslave us. The author uses the analogy that sales can enslave the entrepreneur to explain how a business that excessively depends on large sales volumes can place constant pressure on the company's resources. Trías de Bes warns that massive sales without a strategy to optimize profit margins can, instead of freeing the entrepreneur, make it more difficult to manage. By focusing only on generating more sales, entrepreneurs may find themselves trapped in an endless cycle of intensive work to fulfill orders, grow infrastructure, and manage an increasingly complex business. This cycle can lead to stress and burnout for entrepreneurs, as they not only have to manage the sales process but also ensure that costs don't spiral out of control. Additionally, increased sales generally require higher operating expenses, which can quickly deplete available resources and lead the business to an unsustainable financial situation. Trías de Bes emphasizes that, instead of just increasing sales, entrepreneurs should focus on a balanced approach where sales generate enough profit margin to cover costs and leave a net profit. Sales should be a means, not an end in themselves. The real goal, profits. The author reinforces that the real goal of any business should be to generate profits, not just sales. Profits are the foundation for the long-term sustainability of the company. Trías de Bes explains that, without profits, there is no way to reinvest in the business, pay debts, or expand operations. Furthermore, profits provide entrepreneurs with the flexibility to face unforeseen circumstances or times of economic difficulty, which is crucial for the survival of any business. Profits do not only depend on how many products or services are sold, but also on how the process is optimized to generate the maximum return possible while controlling costs. This requires a deep focus on profit margin, rather than just on revenue generated. Trías de Bes emphasizes that, in order to achieve profits, entrepreneurs must efficiently manage resources, optimize operations, and ensure that each sale not only covers production costs but also leaves room for profits. How to manage the relationship between sales and profits. One of the most important lessons that Trías de Bes offers in this chapter is that entrepreneurs must learn to manage the relationship between sales and profits. Although sales are the engine of the business, not all sales are equal in terms of profitability. An increase in sales does not necessarily proportionally increase profits if margins and associated costs are not properly managed. The author suggests that entrepreneurs should evaluate their profit margins and ensure that each sale is profitable. This includes not only the sale price but also acquisition costs, such as advertising and promotions, and other operational expenses related to each transaction. Trías de Bes proposes that entrepreneurs calculate how much money they really earn for each product sold, after deducting all associated costs, and work to maximize that margin. The impact of profits on business sustainability. The author underscores that profits are the foundation for the financial stability and sustained growth of a business. While sales can provide temporary cash flow, profits are what allow the business to continue operating in the long term. Businesses without profits may struggle to pay salaries, cover debts, or invest in new opportunities. Businesses that are able to generate solid profits have a greater chance of surviving economic crises or market fluctuations, as they have the capital needed to adapt or adjust operations. Trías de Bes explains that the ability of a business to handle fluctuations in sales and remain profitable is what defines its resilience. Focusing on profit margins. To achieve this sustainability approach, the author advises entrepreneurs to focus on improving profit margins. This involves constantly reviewing operating costs and ensuring that the revenue from each sale generates not only immediate profits but also a sufficient return in the long run. Trías de Bes states that improving margins involves working on reducing expenses, improving operational efficiency, and negotiating with suppliers to obtain better prices without affecting the quality of the product or service. The importance of a profitable business model. Finally, the chapter concludes with a reflection on how entrepreneurs must design a profitable business model from the start. Trías de Bes reminds us that a business is not just a means to generate sales, but a means to create a revenue stream that covers costs and generates sustainable profits. Without this approach, even a business with high sales volumes can end up collapsing financially if it doesn't have an adequate profit margin. This chapter reinforces the idea that sales alone are not enough, and that the real focus should be on generating solid and sustainable profits. In the next chapter, we will explore how starting a business is easy, but the hard part is growing it, and the challenges entrepreneurs face when their business starts expanding. Chapter 14. Starting a business is easy, growing it is hard. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes addresses one of the major challenges of entrepreneurship: scalability. While starting a business is a relatively accessible process, growing it in a sustained and efficient way is a much more complex task. The author highlights that the growth phase is where many entrepreneurs face real challenges. It expands the business vision, diversifies processes, and most importantly, manages human and financial resources to achieve sustained growth. The myth that starting a business is complicated. Trías de Bes begins this chapter by demystifying the idea that entrepreneurship is extremely complicated. In reality, launching a business is not that difficult, especially with the technology and tools available today. An entrepreneur can begin their journey with relatively few resources and a basic plan. However, the challenge is not in starting the business, but in keeping it running profitably while scaling. The author explains that often, the early stages of entrepreneurship are relatively easy to handle, as the business is small and the operation doesn't require complex management. However, as the business grows, the number of tasks, responsibilities, and decisions increases, making growth a much greater challenge. In fact, many businesses fail during this growth phase because expansion dynamics are not managed properly. From day-to-day management to managing scalability. One of the most important lessons Trías de Bes conveys is that the focus must shift as the business grows. Initially, the entrepreneur may take care of all aspects of the business: sales, marketing, finance, customer service, etc. But when the business begins to expand, this approach is no longer sustainable. Scalability refers to the ability of the business to grow without its costs increasing proportionally. The author emphasizes that one of the most common mistakes entrepreneurs make is trying to maintain full control over all areas of the business, even when it begins to grow. Trías de Bes warns that it is essential to delegate responsibilities and create systems that allow the business to operate without relying completely on one person's effort. Delegating and trusting a competent team is key to managing growth. The importance of delegating and building a strong team. The growth of a business is inherently linked to the entrepreneur's ability to delegate tasks. Trías de Bes asserts that an entrepreneur who does not delegate key functions, such as financial management, marketing, or human resources management, will not be able to scale the business effectively. Without delegating responsibilities, the entrepreneur becomes trapped in daily operations, which limits their ability to focus on growth strategies. For the business to grow effectively, there must be a strong team capable of taking control of various areas of the business without the entrepreneur having to oversee everything. Trías de Bes emphasizes that a good leader must be able to trust their team and delegate tasks, which will allow them to focus on business expansion. The process of automation. Trías de Bes also mentions that automation plays a crucial role in the growth phase. As the business grows, manual processes begin to become unsustainable. Automation allows the business to operate more efficiently and reduces the margin for human error. Automated systems in areas such as inventory management, billing, digital marketing, and customer service allow entrepreneurs to manage large volumes of work without the need for a proportional increase in the number of employees. The financial challenge: how to manage cash flow. One of the most complex aspects of growing a business is financial management. The author highlights that as the business grows, cash flow management becomes one of the biggest challenges. While sales may increase, costs also grow significantly, which can lead to liquidity problems if not managed properly. Trías de Bes explains that during the growth phase, revenue must be carefully monitored and expenses must be controlled. Sometimes, businesses that seem to be generating large sales may be facing financial difficulties if they do not have adequate cash flow. Entrepreneurs must learn to anticipate capital needs and have cash reserves to cover unforeseen expenses, such as expansion or necessary investments for innovation. The importance of adapting to changes. A growing business must be able to adapt quickly to market changes. Flexibility is crucial during the scalability phase. Entrepreneurs need to be prepared to adjust their strategy as circumstances change, whether due to a shift in demand, new competition, or technological advancements. Businesses that do not adapt quickly to environmental changes are destined to fall behind. The author highlights that, While the growth phase can be challenging, it is also an opportunity to innovate and improve internal processes. Adapting to changes and always seeking optimization is a key part of the expansion process. The psychology of growth, facing fears and stress. Trías de Bes also discusses the psychological aspects of business growth. The pressure entrepreneurs experience when growing their business can be overwhelming, especially when facing big decisions and financial risks. The author explains that the growth process is often accompanied by fears, such as the fear of failure or uncertainty about whether the business will remain profitable. To manage stress, Trías de Bes suggests that entrepreneurs develop a resilient mindset. Learning to handle pressure and make informed decisions is key to overcoming the difficulties that will inevitably arise. Mistakes and failures are part of the learning process, and the ability to recover quickly from them is essential for successful growth. Conclusion: growth requires vision and strategy. The chapter concludes with a reflection on what it means to grow a business. Trías de Bes reaffirms that starting a business can be relatively easy, but growing it is what truly requires strategy, resilience, and management skills. Entrepreneurs need to adapt to changes, delegate responsibilities, optimize processes, and maintain a solid financial focus to ensure that growth is sustainable and profitable in the long term. This chapter delves into how business growth is not a linear process and requires strategic decisions that go beyond sales. In the next chapter, we will explore how good banks and choosing the right sectors can make a difference in the long-term success of a business. Chapter 15: Good Banks and How to Find the Best Sectors. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes analyzes the relationship between financing and sector selection for business success. Trías de Bes argues that the key to business growth lies not only in having a good product or service but in choosing the right sector and securing the correct financial resources. Through a reflection on the importance of banks and how to obtain financing, as well as the importance of knowing which sectors to invest in and how to identify the most promising ones, the author provides valuable tools for entrepreneurs to maximize their opportunities for success. The role of banks in entrepreneurship. The chapter begins with a reflection on the role of banks in the business world. Trías de Bes explains that many entrepreneurs fall into the trap of relying on banks only when they are already facing financial problems. However, the author argues that, while banks can be a useful tool, financing should not be the first option for entrepreneurs in the early stages of their business. Trías de Bes emphasizes that external financing is an excellent option for those who want to grow their business quickly and need capital for expansion. However, entrepreneurs must be prepared to make smart decisions when dealing with banks, as borrowed capital comes with risks such as interest rates and repayment obligations. The author stresses that, before seeking a bank loan, entrepreneurs should ensure that they have a solid business model that allows them to generate enough income to cover their debts. How to choose the right bank. Trías de Bes suggests that not all banks are the same when it comes to offering financial products for entrepreneurs. The author recommends that entrepreneurs seek banks that have experience working with small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and that offer more favorable conditions for this type of client. Additionally, the author advises evaluating the level of advisory services the bank provides to its entrepreneurial clients. A good bank should not only offer financing but also provide financial advice and help entrepreneurs manage their resources effectively. The author also mentions that when evaluating a financing option, it is essential to know the types of interest rates, fees, and repayment terms. Loan conditions should be transparent, and the entrepreneur must ensure they can meet the terms without compromising the financial stability of their business. Business sectors and their potential. After addressing the importance of financing, Trías de Bes moves on to discuss the selection of the right sectors for entrepreneurship. According to the author, a business does not have the same potential for success depending on the sector it belongs to. Some sectors offer higher growth margins and fewer entry barriers than others, while some markets are saturated or face economic challenges that make entrepreneurship riskier. The author explains that, when choosing a sector, entrepreneurs should analyze several factors. First, they must research market demand in relation to the product or service they want to offer. A saturated market, where competition is fierce, can make it difficult for a new business to grow, while a market with high demand and little competition offers greater opportunities for success. The future sectors. Trías de Bes also mentions sectors that, in his opinion, offer great growth potential in the future. Technology, artificial intelligence, sustainable development, and health are some of the fields with high expectations for expansion. The author emphasizes that, while these sectors offer enormous opportunities, they also require investment in innovation and great adaptability. In this regard, the author underscores that the entrepreneur must be prepared to identify sectors that are in an expansion phase and adapt quickly to the changes they experience. The ability to anticipate trends and adapt to emerging technologies is key to seizing opportunities in these future sectors. The importance of specialization. Although high-growth sectors are attractive, Trías de Bes highlights that to succeed in them, entrepreneurs must specialize in market niches. Instead of trying to cover the entire market, the author suggests that entrepreneurs focus on specific niches within these growing sectors. By specializing, they can offer differentiated products or services that appeal to a specific audience, which increases the likelihood of success. A highly specialized business has less direct competition and can establish itself as a leader in its area. Trías de Bes gives the example of companies operating in niches such as specialized software, eco-friendly products, or personalized services within sectors like health or technology. In these cases, specialization allows companies to attract a loyal audience that values the quality and experience a niche company can offer. Diversification within the sector. Another important aspect is diversification within a sector. Trías de Bes suggests that entrepreneurs explore different areas within the same sector, rather than limiting themselves to a single product or service line. Diversification helps create a stronger portfolio of products and services, which helps minimize risks if one of the products or services does not meet the expected demand. Conclusion: solid finances and strategic sectors. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the relationship between having the right bank and knowing how to choose the right sectors. Trías de Bes reaffirms that capital is essential for growing a business, but it is not enough if the right sector is not chosen. An entrepreneur must be able to identify promising sectors, specialize in market niches, and have solid financial management to maximize growth opportunities. Additionally, a good financial system, supported by banks that understand the needs of entrepreneurs, is crucial to ensure that the business can expand and adapt as it grows. Entrepreneurs need to be prepared to make strategic decisions both in financing and sector selection. This chapter highlights the importance of proper financial management and choosing the right business sectors to ensure sustained and successful growth. In the next chapter, we will explore how to protect the value of your business against market downturns and how to ensure your business is resilient in crises. Chapter 16. The value of a business without immediate profits. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes dives into an essential aspect of entrepreneurship that is often overlooked: the value of a business without immediate profits. Through a reflection on long-term values and sustained growth strategies, the author explains how profitability is not always visible in the short term, but the true value of a business is built over time through the creation of assets, reputation, and adaptability. The business without immediate profits. Trías de Bes begins the chapter with a fundamental question: what happens when a business does not generate profits in the short term? Entrepreneurs often feel frustrated if they do not see quick profits when starting their business, which is completely natural. However, the author stresses that immediate profitability is not always the best indicator of long-term success. Often, businesses do not generate quick profits because they are in the early investment phases, where money is reinvested into the business, improving products or services, and expanding the market. Trías de Bes explains that the absence of immediate profits should not be a cause for alarm if the business is building value in other areas, such as the brand, customer network, or market reputation. The invisible assets of a business. The author mentions that, although many entrepreneurs focus solely on tangible profits, there are invisible assets that determine the real value of a business. These assets are not always reflected in sales or immediate profits but are essential for long-term growth. Some of these assets include brand and reputation. A business with a strong brand and a good reputation in the market is worth much more than one that simply generates sales without creating a unique identity. The trust consumers place in a brand is an intangible asset of great value. Customer relationships, customer loyalty, and the creation of a loyal customer base are also key assets. Although these do not generate immediate profits, they create recurring income and recommendations that provide stability to the business. Intellectual property and technological assets, such as software development, patents, or innovative processes, are also essential. These assets may not generate immediate profits, but their value is immense when considered as differentiating factors in the market. How do you see the potential of investing in emerging technologies or sectors with high growth? Would you consider focusing on niche markets within these sectors for your business strategies? The value of patience, a long-term approach. Trías de Bes highlights that one of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is expecting immediate results without considering the value the business is creating over time. The true profitability of a business cannot always be measured in terms of immediate profits, but rather in its potential to outpace competition, generate customer loyalty, and build a strong network. The author explains that the most successful businesses are often those that invest in the long term. These businesses have a broader, more strategic vision, understanding that visible profits will come when they have accumulated valuable assets. For example, companies like Amazon, which initially did not generate large profits, bet on expansion, innovation, and adapting to new technologies, which allowed them to build infrastructure that later generated huge long-term profits. Investment in the future, reinvesting profits. Trías de Bes emphasizes that a business that generates profits must be able to reinvest those profits in its growth. Reinvesting profits into innovation, product improvement, and market expansion is one of the most effective ways to increase a business's value. However, not all companies understand the importance of this reinvestment. The author uses high-growth companies as an example, which, in their early years, did not generate large profit margins but reinvested every penny to improve their infrastructure and processes. This type of reinvestment allows businesses to adapt to market changes and grow in new areas without relying exclusively on their immediate profits. The value of resilience in times of crisis. An important aspect that Trías de Bes mentions is the value of resilience in the face of adversity. In many cases, businesses that survive economic crises and unforeseen market changes are the ones that have a fundamental value beyond profit figures. Business resilience is the intangible value that allows entrepreneurs to adapt to difficult situations and ultimately overcome obstacles that seemed insurmountable. The author explains that crises should not be seen merely as obstacles, but as an opportunity to adjust the business, improve processes, and strengthen the internal structure. Businesses that can quickly adapt to changes, reorient their strategy, and remain focused on the future are the ones that will grow once the crisis is overcome. Value is not always profitable in the short term. A business that does not generate immediate profits should not be considered a failure. Trías de Bes explains that profitability is not something instantaneous. Real profits are built over time as the business adapts to market demands, improves its offerings, and creates valuable assets that allow it to have a competitive advantage in the future. Trías de Bes also emphasizes that entrepreneurs must have a long-term strategic mindset, focusing on value creation rather than just seeking quick profits. Instead of chasing immediate profits, entrepreneurs should focus on building a robust business with a solid foundation that will generate profitability when the time is right. Conclusion: creating long-term value. The chapter concludes with an important reflection on the true value of a business. While immediate profits are important, Trías de Bes stresses that the value of a business is built over time through the creation of invisible assets, proper resource management, and strategic reinvestment. Entrepreneurs must be willing to be patient and resilient, understanding that real growth and profitability come when a business is built solidly and well managed over the years. Chapter 17. The entrepreneurial life is not balanced. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes reflects on a central theme in entrepreneurship: the life of an entrepreneur is not balanced. Entrepreneurs often face the constant tension between the need to grow their business and the desire to maintain a personal and professional balance. Trías de Bes explains that, in many cases, balance is unattainable in the life of an entrepreneur, as the demands of the business tend to exceed personal boundaries. However, this lack of balance can be a strategic advantage if managed properly. The myth of the balanced entrepreneur. Trías de Bes begins the chapter by pointing out that the idea of the balanced entrepreneur, the one who successfully manages their business while maintaining a happy and fulfilling personal life, is often glorified. However, the author clarifies that this is a myth that does not reflect the reality of most entrepreneurs. Rather than achieving perfect balance, entrepreneurs must learn to manage priorities and make sacrifices during certain stages of their entrepreneurial careers. The author explains that entrepreneurs are often exposed to external pressures and high expectations from clients, employees, partners, and even family. These pressures often cause entrepreneurs to dedicate long hours of work, with their personal lives being sacrificed for the success of the business. Trías de Bes emphasizes that, while this sacrifice may be temporary, it is a reality that is part of the entrepreneur's journey. How do you balance the demands of growth with personal well-being in your own work? Does the idea of managing priorities and making temporary sacrifices resonate with you in terms of strategic decision-making? Sacrifice is inevitable. Trías de Bes emphasizes that sacrifice is a fundamental element of entrepreneurship, especially during the early stages of a business. During this time, entrepreneurs often work longer hours, face high levels of stress, and sacrifice personal time to ensure that their business runs smoothly. The author explains that this sacrifice is necessary for the business to reach stability and profitability, but also warns that it is not sustainable in the long term without proper management. Trías de Bes reflects on how entrepreneurs must be prepared to make tough decisions that may affect other areas of their lives, such as family or health. The business demands constant dedication, but entrepreneurs need to be aware that this sacrifice is temporary and must be managed strategically. Personal life, a constant challenge. As a business grows, external demands tend to intensify, and the entrepreneur finds themselves caught between the need to make decisions for the business and the pressure to dedicate time to personal life. Trías de Bes explains that, although personal life is important, business responsibility will always be a priority, especially in the early years of the company's life. The author emphasizes that entrepreneurs must be honest with themselves about the priorities they need to manage and how to balance these responsibilities. While the ideal balance may be difficult to achieve, what's important is knowing when to make sacrifices and when responsibilities can be delegated to regain personal time. Stress and pressure in an entrepreneur's life. An important part of the lack of balance is the stress and pressure that entrepreneurs face constantly. Trías de Bes acknowledges that stress is an inherent part of being an entrepreneur, as important decisions, financial uncertainty, pressure to innovate, and market competition cause entrepreneurs to experience high levels of emotional and psychological pressure. The author notes that mental health and emotional well-being are essential for long-term success. Even though the life of an entrepreneur is challenging, emotional balance must be prioritized. Entrepreneurs who neglect their health or fail to manage stress may face serious problems that affect both their personal well-being and the success of their business. Trías de Bes recommends taking time to rest and find methods to reduce anxiety and work-related stress. Delegating to gain time. One key solution Trías de Bes presents for dealing with the lack of balance is delegating responsibilities. As the business grows, the entrepreneur must start relying on others to manage important tasks. This can include hiring key staff, collaborating with strategic partners, or hiring advisors in specific areas such as finance, marketing, and human resources management. The author explains that delegation is crucial because it frees the entrepreneur from the burden of doing everything themselves. Delegating daily tasks and trusting team members allows the entrepreneur to focus on growth strategy, which not only improves business efficiency but also gives the entrepreneur the opportunity to recover personal time. The role of flexibility. A key concept in this chapter is flexibility. Trías de Bes mentions that entrepreneurs must learn to be flexible in how they manage their time and priorities. Instead of trying to achieve a rigid balance, entrepreneurs must be willing to adjust their approach according to circumstances and the demands of the moment. Flexibility not only refers to time but also to mindset. Entrepreneurs must be willing to adapt and change their plans when necessary. This flexibility may mean reorganizing schedules, reassessing priorities, and adjusting expectations, especially when facing periods of high demand or when critical business decisions need to be made. The long road to balance. Trías de Bes concludes the chapter by highlighting that, although the ideal work-life balance is difficult to achieve, entrepreneurs must be prepared for the sacrifices that the entrepreneurial journey entails. Throughout the process, entrepreneurs must focus on managing stress, delegating responsibilities, and finding time to recharge. The author emphasizes that as the business grows and stabilizes, new opportunities arise to regain balance. The expansion phase requires intense dedication, but once stability is reached, it becomes possible to shift focus and better distribute time between professional and personal life. This chapter highlights that an entrepreneur's life is not balanced at the start, but with time and effective delegation, it is possible to regain that balance. In the next chapter, we will explore how to protect your business's value against market downturns and how to strengthen the foundations of your venture to withstand adversity. Chapter 18. How to protect the value of your business against a market downturn. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes addresses a crucial topic for the long-term survival of any business: how to protect the value of the business in the face of market downturns or economic crises. Trías de Bes stresses that, while entrepreneurs cannot predict the future, they can take strategic steps to strengthen their business's resilience and ensure it remains profitable and sustainable even during difficult times. The impact of market downturns. The author begins this chapter by stating that market downturns and economic crises are inevitable. No business is immune to market fluctuations or economic cycles. However, entrepreneurs can protect themselves from the effects of these downturns by adopting proactive strategies that allow them to stay afloat during times of uncertainty. Trías de Bes highlights that while the behavior of the market cannot be controlled, entrepreneurs can prepare for the worst-case scenarios. Businesses that are not adequately protected against downturns or crises may face liquidity problems, loss of customers, or reduced revenue. In these cases, the value of a business can decrease rapidly if precautions are not taken in time. Diversification, the first step towards protection. The author emphasizes the importance of diversification as the key strategy to protect the business against unforeseen market downturns. Trías de Bes explains that by diversifying, a business can reduce its exposure to the risks inherent in a single product, service, or market. If one of the products or markets suffers a decline, diversification allows other segments of the business to continue generating income and maintaining financial stability. Diversification not only refers to having multiple products or services but also to operating in different geographies or business sectors. Instead of relying on a single revenue stream, entrepreneurs should seek new opportunities and markets that allow them to expand and reduce the risk of their business. Building financial reserves. Another key strategy for protecting the value of a business against market downturns is having financial reserves. Trías de Bes explains that while it is difficult to predict when a crisis will occur, it is essential to have an emergency fund that allows the company to weather periods of low profitability or reduced income. This fund can be used to cover operating costs during crises without resorting to debt or losing essential resources for the business. The author recommends that entrepreneurs allocate a portion of their annual profits to savings or low-risk investments that can be easily accessed when needed. Cash reserves provide a safety cushion that allows entrepreneurs to face any unforeseen events calmly without compromising the stability of the business. Adaptability, the key to resilience. Adaptability is another crucial aspect for protecting the value of a business against market uncertainty. Trías de Bes mentions that the most successful businesses are those that have been able to quickly adapt to changes in market demands, technology, and consumer behavior. Instead of clinging to an outdated business model, entrepreneurs should constantly evaluate their environment and adjust their strategy according to the circumstances. The ability to innovate and adjust to new conditions is vital for survival in difficult times. Businesses that are flexible and open to change can find opportunities even in the most challenging moments, while those that cling to traditional approaches may fall behind. Strengthening customer relationships. During a crisis or market downturn, maintaining a strong relationship with customers is vital to ensure the business's stability. Trías de Bes suggests that entrepreneurs should focus on customer satisfaction and build long-term trust-based relationships. Companies that provide real value to their customers can better withstand market fluctuations because their customers will remain loyal even during tough times. The author explains that during periods of uncertainty, customers often look for reliable companies they can count on. Companies that maintain high-quality standards and care about their customers' needs can gain a competitive edge, even when other businesses struggle to stay afloat. The importance of information and data-driven decision-making. During a crisis, accurate information is crucial. Trías de Bes underscores that entrepreneurs must base their decisions on solid data and market analysis rather than relying on assumptions or emotional intentions. Having quick access to up-to-date information about the market, competition, and customer behavior allows entrepreneurs to make informed decisions that can mitigate the impact of a market downturn. The author mentions that businesses with effective analytical tools have a significant competitive advantage because they can anticipate trends and react quickly to adjust their operations or marketing strategies. The value of technology for adaptation. Trías de Bes also highlights that technology plays an increasingly important role in helping businesses adapt to market changes. Technological tools allow entrepreneurs to improve operational efficiency, automate processes, and reach new markets at lower costs. During a crisis, technology can be the key to keeping costs low while capitalizing on new business opportunities. The author advises entrepreneurs to not only invest in advanced technology but also improve their internal processes with automated systems that allow them to manage operations more efficiently and flexibly. Conclusion: preparing for uncertainty. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the importance of preparation in the face of uncertainty. Although not everything in the market can be controlled, Trías de Bes insists that entrepreneurs must be proactive in making decisions that strengthen their business's resilience. Diversification, adaptability, financial reserves, and strong customer relationships are essential strategies to overcome crises and maintain the business's value. In the end, the author highlights that a resilient business not only survives market downturns but also becomes stronger from them, seizing opportunities that emerge even in times of difficulty. This chapter provides a strategic approach to protecting the value of a business during times of uncertainty. In the next chapter, we will explore how to learn from failures and how they can be valuable growth tools for entrepreneurs. Chapter 19: The Key Factors of Entrepreneurial Failure. In this chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes addresses one of the harshest but inevitable realities of the entrepreneurial world: failure. Trías de Bes explains that failure is not the end of the road for an entrepreneur but an opportunity for learning. However, there are key factors that contribute to business failures, and the author identifies common mistakes that entrepreneurs should avoid to prevent them. Through an analysis of the most common reasons for failure and how they can be avoided, Trías de Bes provides a guide to minimize risks and increase the chances of success in entrepreneurship. The fear of failure, a common obstacle. Trías de Bes begins the chapter by acknowledging that although many entrepreneurs are optimistic and visionary, there is an inherent fear of failure that can paralyze those starting out. The fear of failure manifests in various ways, from anxiety about uncertainty to the fear of losing money or reputation. However, the author argues that fear of failure should not prevent action, as failure is part of the learning process. The author notes that in many cases, fear of failure can block the ability to make important decisions or take risks. Trías de Bes emphasizes that entrepreneurs must be willing to take certain risks, but with a mindset of learning and growth, understanding that failure is not final but a step toward success. Lack of preparation and planning. One of the most important factors contributing to the failure of a business is a lack of preparation and planning. Trías de Bes points out that many entrepreneurs rush into the market without a solid business plan that helps them anticipate obstacles and prepare for the unexpected. The lack of proper planning can lead to impulsive decisions and ineffective strategies. The author emphasizes that planning should be comprehensive and integral, covering not only financial aspects but also marketing strategies, human resources management, and contingency plans. Anticipating possible difficulties and setting realistic goals are crucial for staying on course and preventing small challenges from turning into major obstacles. Not learning from mistakes. Failure becomes an opportunity only if the entrepreneur is willing to learn from their mistakes. Trías de Bes mentions that many entrepreneurs repeat the same mistakes without properly analyzing the causes that led to failure. Instead of seeking blame or justifications, the entrepreneur must be able to recognize the failures and understand how to improve future decisions. The author recommends engaging in deep reflection after each failure to identify the lessons learned. Entrepreneurs who learn from their mistakes are more resilient and better prepared to face new challenges in the future. Trías de Bes also suggests that entrepreneurs seek mentors or external advisors who can offer an objective perspective on what went wrong and how to improve. Lack of adaptability. Another important factor contributing to failure is the lack of adaptability. Trías de Bes stresses that in a dynamic and ever-changing world, entrepreneurs cannot afford to cling to a rigid business model. Adaptability is essential to adjust the business to new circumstances and take advantage of emerging opportunities. The author emphasizes that entrepreneurs must be able to modify their strategies as market conditions or customer demands change. Failure to adjust to changes can lead to the business falling behind compared to more agile competitors or technological changes that transform the industry. Ineffective money management. A common factor in business failures is ineffective money management. Trías de Bes explains that many entrepreneurs make the mistake of not properly managing cash flow or spending on non-essential things before establishing a solid customer base and profitability. Financial management is a critical aspect of maintaining business stability, and entrepreneurs must ensure they have enough working capital and a reserve fund to overcome difficult times. The author recommends maintaining strict control over expenses, avoiding unnecessary debts, and ensuring that the business is generating sustainable income. Cash flow should be constantly monitored, and entrepreneurs should be prepared to adjust their financial strategies based on the business's real needs. Lack of an adequate team. Human resource management is another key factor in avoiding failure. Trías de Bes highlights that many entrepreneurs try to do everything themselves or fail to hire the right people for key positions in the business. The lack of a competent team aligned with the company's vision can hinder growth and lead to failure. The author recommends surrounding oneself with competent people, delegating tasks in specific areas, and ensuring that all team members buy into the business's vision. Effective leadership and proper team management are essential for long-term success. Entrepreneurs should invest in the development of their team and make sure each member has a clear and well-defined role within the company. Not knowing when to pivot or close. One of the most serious mistakes that can lead to failure is the inability to pivot when things are not working. Trías de Bes underscores that many entrepreneurs cling to an idea or strategy despite it not generating the expected results. Fear of failure or the desperation not to lose the initial investment may lead entrepreneurs to continue down a path that ultimately leads to bankruptcy. The author emphasizes the importance of recognizing when it is time to change focus or even close a business. Although this may seem like failure, the ability to pivot or close a business that is not functioning profitably is a smart decision that allows entrepreneurs to minimize losses and seek new opportunities in the future. Conclusion. Failure as a springboard to success. Trías de Bes concludes the chapter with a reflection on failure and resilience. Although failures are inevitable, entrepreneurs must see them as learning opportunities that can lead to long-term success. Rather than fearing failure, entrepreneurs should embrace the lessons that arise from mistakes and use that wisdom to adjust strategies, improve decisions, and build stronger, more sustainable businesses. This chapter highlights the importance of learning from failures and recognizing the key factors that can lead a business to failure. In the next chapter, we will explore how to leverage failure to strengthen the business and how each challenge can become a valuable tool for the future. Chapter 20. The Importance of Learning from Failures. In this final chapter, Fernando Trías de Bes delves into a fundamental topic of entrepreneurship, learning from failures. Trías de Bes points out that, Although failure is an inevitable and often painful part of the entrepreneurial process, it is also a powerful tool for learning and growth. Successful entrepreneurs are not defined by their failures but by their ability to leverage the lessons these failures provide and, from there, move forward with greater wisdom, resilience, and strength. Failure as an inevitable part of the journey. Trías de Bes begins the chapter by acknowledging that failure is an inevitable part of entrepreneurship. No business is free of challenges and mistakes. Failures, whether small setbacks or major downfalls, are common in all entrepreneurial paths, and entrepreneurs must be prepared to face them and learn from them. The author emphasizes that there is not a single successful entrepreneur who has not had to overcome difficulties along the way. Failure is not the end but merely a stage in the learning process. Trías de Bes highlights that failure is not only related to the loss of money or the closure of a business, but it can also be a failure of strategy, management, or market visibility. Wrong decisions, poor choices, or unforeseen external circumstances can result in temporary failures. However, these failures, if properly analyzed, offer valuable lessons that allow strategies to be adjusted and decision-making to be improved in the future. Failure as a learning lesson. One of the key points Trías de Bes highlights is that failure is the best teacher. While entrepreneurs naturally tend to feel pain when things do not go as planned, the true value of failure lies in the training it provides. Every mistake, every problem, or every challenge represents an opportunity to learn and improve. The author argues that one of the greatest mistakes an entrepreneur can make is not analyzing failures and not learning from them. Failure should not be seen as a final sentence, but as a source of knowledge that provides a different, wiser, and more complete perspective on the business. Negative experiences give the opportunity to reflect, identify mistakes made, and make the necessary adjustments to avoid repeating those same failures in the future. Failure as a sign to pivot. In many cases, the failure of a product or service can be a clear signal that the business model needs to pivot. Trías de Bes explains that not all failures indicate the end of the business. Some failures are simply a sign that the approach, strategy, or product needs to be adjusted to better align with market needs. A strategic pivot may be necessary to change the direction of the business and find a more effective path. The author emphasizes that a successful entrepreneur knows how to read market signals and does not cling to an idea that is clearly not working. Instead of insisting on something that yields no results, the entrepreneur must be willing to adapt and try new strategies. This flexibility and adaptability in the face of failure is what truly distinguishes resilient entrepreneurs from those who simply give up in the face of difficulties. The importance of a positive mindset. One of the greatest assets an entrepreneur has in the face of failure is a positive mindset. Trías de Bes emphasizes that having the right mental approach is key to avoiding despair or self-pity after a failure. Entrepreneurs who maintain a positive and proactive attitude after a setback are the ones who most easily find the motivation to keep going. The author argues that failures should be redefined as learning opportunities and not as a punishment or a test that cannot be overcome. Trías de Bes emphasizes that the ability to stay optimistic even in tough times is crucial for quickly recovering and trying again with more strength and better tools. The value of feedback and continuous learning. Another fundamental aspect of learning from failure is external feedback. Trías de Bes highlights that seeking outside opinions is essential for obtaining an objective view of what went wrong. Mentors, partners, or even customers can provide key insights that entrepreneurs may not always see themselves due to their emotional attachment to the business. The author stresses that feedback is a powerful tool for improving and adapting business strategies. Listening to criticism and applying the lessons learned allows the entrepreneur not only to avoid repeating mistakes but also to identify new opportunities to grow and strengthen. Resilience, the key to overcoming failures. Resilience is another crucial theme in this chapter. Trías de Bes states that entrepreneurs must be mentally strong and willing to overcome obstacles with determination. Rather than seeing failure as defeat, the entrepreneur should view it as part of the journey that provides wisdom and personal growth. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from setbacks, stay focused on the goal, and most importantly, learn and grow from the experience. Entrepreneurs with a resilient mindset are able to look beyond immediate failure and focus on long-term results. Trías de Bes also mentions that having a resilient mindset does not mean ignoring the negative feelings that may arise, but rather recognizing them, learning from them, and moving forward with renewed energy. Not giving up. Perseverance as a key virtue. One of the most important lessons in this chapter is that failure should not lead to giving up. Trías de Bes emphasizes that entrepreneurs must be persistent and keep moving forward even when circumstances seem unfavorable. Great entrepreneurs are not those who never fail, but those who learn from every failure and continue forward, improving with each attempt. The author encourages entrepreneurs not to give up at the first obstacle and to use every fall as an opportunity to rise with more strength. Perseverance and determination are two essential qualities that entrepreneurs must cultivate to achieve long-term success. Conclusion: failure as a springboard to success. Trías de Bes concludes this chapter with a powerful reflection. Failure is not the end of the road, but a stepping stone that leads entrepreneurs to their next level of learning and success. Failure is an opportunity to grow, innovate, and improve, and entrepreneurs who are able to learn from their mistakes have a significant advantage on their path to success. This chapter reinforces the idea that failure does not define the entrepreneur, but instead becomes a tool to strengthen their vision and broaden their horizons. The key is to take each mistake as a lesson, maintaining a resilient and persevering mindset. In this way, entrepreneurs can turn failures into victories and move forward toward success. Conclusion: the entrepreneur's path. With this final chapter, we have covered the most valuable lessons on how to turn failures into springboards for success. The entrepreneurial journey is filled with challenges, but it is precisely these obstacles that provide the greatest opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. If you are an entrepreneur, remember that each failure is a lesson that brings you closer to your goals. The key is not to avoid falling, but to learn quickly from each mistake, adapt to the circumstances, and keep moving forward with a resilient and persistent mindset. Don't give up. Every step, even those that seem like failures, leads you to success if you know how to leverage them. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more about entrepreneurship, personal development, and success strategies, I invite you to subscribe to our Audio Mentors channel. Join our community and enjoy more books, advice, and tools that will help you overcome any challenge on your path to success. Don't miss the upcoming inspiring stories and entrepreneurship strategies. Subscribe now to Audio Mentors and take your entrepreneurial mindset to the next level. See you in the next chapter. Thank you for joining us and being part of Audio Mentors.